one thing on his mind.
Everybody talks about escape. There's no ifs. Bieber wanted to get out, and that's the difference with him. He's obsessed with escape.
David Bieber has been behind bars since December the 2nd, 2004, the day he was convicted for the murder of PC Ian Broadhurst. The judge told him that in his case, life means life. But Bieber's no ordinary inmate. As a free man, he plotted and schemed to get his way out of trouble. As a prisoner, he's determined to find his way out of jail.
The more it sunk in that he was never getting out of there, that's the more desperate he got.
Soon after he was jailed, Bieber struck up a friendship with another prisoner who was awaiting extradition for alleged crimes in South Africa.
His name was well known through the newspapers. I said, "Oh, you must be David Bieber." And he says, "Yeah." I says, "You're the guy that was involved in the killings of the police up in Yorkshire?" "Yeah, that's me."
In the following months, Bieber's new cellmate began to notice some changes.
He hated it. You could see it was mither in him. When I knew him, he was very depressed. And he did say to me, "You know, I prefer to die escaping than die in prison." He said, "You know, he always said I've got nothing to lose."
Bieber was so desperate he began planning an escape. He found out that his new friend had served in the army, that he'd travelled all over the world, and that he'd been trained in how to use a gun. Bieber decided he was the perfect person to help him escape.
As the months went on, the more detailed he got and the more desperate he got. Every time he came to the cell, the conversation was on escape.
In April 2007, all the charges against Bieber's cellmate were dropped and he was allowed to go free. Several weeks later, he received a phone call. It was to be the first of many.
His first words were, "Hey, man." And then straight away he went into the conversation of, are you still able to help me with my appeal? Which he started using as a code name for his escape. Some of the conversations would be just a few minutes. Other conversations, crikey, I think I've spoke to him for nearly 40 minutes. And I even spoke to him at one stage, and I could hear the door shutting, coming along the line, shutting, and the screw shouting for people to go in. So he obviously had the phone in the cell with him.
Bieber may have thought he had an ally, but his ex-cellmate was also playing a game. He knew there'd be people interested in the escape bid of a police officer's killer. Instead of helping him, he used their conversations to gather evidence to sell to the tabloid press.
Actually, they've just put more up. But what it is around me outside, it's literally a 5-meter gap.
8 years on the run had taught Bieber to plan everything, and he wasn't stopping now. He gave a blow-by-blow account of how to get into the prison.
Even if you had to, there's still little holes here and there.
And detailed an astonishing and well-thought-out plot that he thought would give him his freedom.
The plan was for an helicopter to fly in. We wanted a gun attaching to the rope so that if anybody tried to stop him when he was below, he was able to shoot. Then he wanted dropping off as soon as possible over the wall. He wanted dye for his hair. He asked about false passports and driving licenses. He had a series of cars he wanted laying on so he could get to each car and make his way up to Scotland. His plan was to lay low there for a while, then get a boat round the coast of Scotland all the way round to Ireland. And I believe it was in Ireland that he said he would have plastic surgery done as soon as possible to change his appearance.
You need to be ready to lay down some fire if you had to.
And Bieber's plan made it clear that he was a man who would stop at nothing to get his freedom back.
He was obviously desperate, and he'd do anything to get out of there. And he will kill and expected me to kill, which puts him a threat above most any other prisoner I ever met in prison.
You know, that's what my last name, don't you? A-I-E-B-E-R.
Only Bieber himself knows why he was sitting in his car with a gun on that Boxing Day, or why he decided to kill PC Broadhurst. But those closest to Ian are now left living with the tragic consequences of those actions.
What if, you know, you can ask yourself that question forever, what if I'd have turned left, you know, I didn't, I turned right, and the things that happened, and there's not a thing I can do to change them.
He's taken everything away from me. He took away my whole world. And I've had to now try and rebuild that by myself, without Ian in it. How do you do that?
Tonight investigates reducing sugar levels tomorrow at 8 on ITV1.